Okay. I know we had a brief little conversation before, but just for the clarity of the video, who are you? What's your rank? Who do you play? That sort of stuff.
My name is Fumiata. I'm regarded as the rank 1 Angela. I have multiple accounts that have reached one above all, just OTPing Angela. And today I'm just looking for how to improve my own playstyle on one tricking Angela and higher level lobbies so I can consistently carry my games harder.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think I love coaching one tricks in general. Like in team environments, just even privately coaching, I think one tricks teach you a lot about the game. And I think I am a very firm believer of keeping your hero pool small in general, because I think, and this might be a controversial take, I think one tricks are always better players in terms of adaptability in comparison to people that play a larger hero pool and opt to switch character as opposed to playstyle. I do think that changing playstyle should always be the forefront of any strategy, because once you're changing a character, you are essentially forcing all five people to respond to your change, if that makes sense, and play around a completely new character, which could actually be more detrimental than beneficial in a lot of cases.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, even me myself, I play four characters on my main role max, and like two of them are triple support options. Like I play Rocket Loki. I guess now I would consider Gambit as well. And then other than that, Adam Mantis, and I do not play anything else. But yeah, no. I think where you're gonna find a lot of value in a coaching session is the blend of like professional strategies in tandem with what you've learned from ranked. It's really funny because in a lot of team environments, I'm known as a coach that picks up ranked players and tries to like mold them into competitive players, because I do think that a lot of people that learn how to play the game in the professional system, they lack the ability to go on those individual plays and make plays that actually impact, the larger state of the game, which shouldn't be an issue for you if you are a ranked climber.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know if you've watched any of my coaching sessions before, but essentially what I always start with is team comp. The reason why team comp is important, especially for someone like you, is the fact that your playstyle drastically differs depending on who is in the game. So I'm gonna ask you this. What is your comp? What is the win condition? Um, how do you look to play? What would be your plan if you see these six characters in your game?
So I always look at my comp when I come out, and then when a team comes out, I try to scout out theirs. I think right here my team would be more of a dive comp, and the win condition would be between me and Cap. I think we set the whole team's identity and how we should be playing the game.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. The amount of dive tanks you have on your team versus the amount of dive DPS you have on your team as well. Of course, if you had a shield tank, the identity of the comp kind of gets determined by you and the Spider-Man or you and the Psylocke, right?
Mhm.
Um, what's the benefit of playing with a cap? How do you tend to engage with the cap?
Um, Personally, I would um, I would let the Cap set up their engage first, especially since it's ranked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like to have the other person initiate because the only person I can control is myself.
Mm-hmm.
So realistically, I would want him to engage on backlines or pull out any resources, and then I will be the cleanup.
Yeah, absolutely. So in a professional scene, my team was known for running full dive. Back we took two maps from Virtus Pro, which is the best team in arguably the world, if not Europe. Um, and we were essentially playing Angela Venom very, 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 very hard. And the macro of that is let your Venom hit, let your Venom take all the resources in the world, and then my Angela can strip anyone away, literally anyone away, because the Venom's taken all the cooldown. Now, this can be replicated with the Cap because of the shield cooldown, right? But just understand that Cap cannot take as much damage as the Venom. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Um, But no, I would completely agree. Angela is giga OP broken when she has another dive tank with her. I think she's slightly worse when she is the only dive tank on the team. Um, but no, for sure, at least how I would coach it would always be to engage second on Angie. Yeah, I mean, there's one more thing that you could be doing here, especially because it's solo queue. It's just scouting comp early, if that makes sense. Just start building your playstyle. Because I always say, okay, the next thing that determines how you play the game is the enemy comp, right? And I always say to the people that I coach, we would know this from second fight. However, you as a dive angle, you as a very, very mobile pillar of this comp, actually get the benefit of being able to see what they're on from first bite while still being safe for the first bite, if that makes sense. So here, this is just slightly passive. You're not really in a setup, right? You should always start in a setup, but I'm assuming there's some sort of logic or pathing. Bucky's dead, which means that there's no real pressure to engage in this sort of situation. Cool, their hook cooldown is gone, but the enemy team are likely not going to get a successful engagement. They're not going to breach our choke successfully when they're one down. Which once again, we could be playing for another setup for scouting. All of this. Still very passive though. Nice. This is fun. So I actually really like how meticulous this is. How you are stalling your attack, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'll just play it out. And then we go on the isolation. Cool, 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 cool. Nice, 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 nice. And that's a concept that I talked over with Quad about, right? When you're deciding a target here, what is the thing that you're looking for?
Who has the highest value if I mark them.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that their resources were being used right here. So if I engage, then like the engagement would not be bad, but the Phoenix is alone on the high ground.
Yes.
And they can't use resources to save the Phoenix.
Yeah.
So
So
she all I have to do is just pull out her iframe and I can re-engage her later on.
yes, for me, if something looks too late or too early, that is the hit target. This looks like it's an isolation that is accidental to an extent. You know, they obviously meant to take this angle, but they took this angle not considering the fact that they can be stripped away. So I really, really like how we look at the Phoenix here. Force a big cooldown. Force the enemy team to sustain, but you need to be aware of turn taking here. Because the enemy invis is in play. This is extremely risky. We use our shield, we get out. This is fine. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine. It might be a bit niche. I don't really like your pathing, how your pathing main back turn to main, I feel. For me, if you're backing up in the main sideline, I would basically be shield up, facing this way, backing up. But in general, I would be looking to probably path the same way, face away from the enemy team. But I would be looking to path on a side lane as opposed to stabilizing at main here. So you're still in the middle of the choke right now. Whereas for me, I would have stabled on a side lane before I re-engaged, if that makes sense. Because here is just constant damage. You're actually still taking damage from that first disengage. And now the stable is pretty weak. Pretty weak. Fine. But yeah. Do you see... I personally think that's a bit scrappy. Going here, like that was literally your pathing, if that makes sense. Whereas you could have gone here early. With Angela, there are two types of ways that you can sustain yourself. Health packs, which are completely independent, and then healers, right? Now, there's a benefit to both. What do you think is a benefit to grabbing health packs?
You don't use up your team's resources to keep yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
You're self-sustained basically. And then using your healers is obviously good for ult charge, ult build up, and
Mm-hmm.
Angela herself has the ability to provide a little bit of utility to her team, so you can
Yeah.
be there to help out when necessary if you're constantly supplying your own team.
So we use this term battery. You go to your healers, you charge your healers or charge. Now, health packs are good because it is self-sufficient. It could be bad because of downtime, right?
Yeah.
We don't know how far away a health pack is. But in general, it's typically not a bad thing to be self-sufficient. And I think in this game, that's one thing that a lot of divers lack. I'm gonna say something controversial here. I would argue that if you're on a dive character, you should never expect healing. That statement there, do you agree or disagree with it? And it's
I
fine to
agree.
disagree with it.
I agree, and I feel like lately I've been getting more frustrated because I have expected healing since I've been trying to play more like a team player, and
Hmm.
I try to like take a pit stop back to the back line, and then when it doesn't work out, like I get frustrated. So I
Yeah.
feel like I should keep that old mental
Hmm.
back,
No,
because originally when I played, that's how I played, was the self sustain.
exactly right. Now, that was the thing that was so important about Lunar Snow, right? We don't have to LOS our tanks to heal them. But the expectation that my rocket should be looking at a side lane when, there's actually things at main is completely troll in my opinion. So I think that dive players should be less expecting of heals in a lot of cases. And as a dive tank, sure, I would want my healers to heal up my Angela way more than they heal up my Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Because Spider-Man can literally get out and go back in. Um, but yeah, in general, keep a mental of where all of the health packs are and rotate path health pack to health pack, right? This game kind of is it's a bit weird in the health pack distribution. I think there's a lot of health packs close to main, but actually you'll notice that there are just a lot of health packs in general. If you look at side lanes, every single health pack is gonna be in this area of space in all situations. Does that make sense? And you can
Yeah,
you can literally look at that in any situation, right? Where even are the lanes in this situation? I guess depends on how you flip it. But boom, the health packs are gonna be here. The health packs are gonna be here. Or alternatively, um, I, I mean, it's weird game. But once again, like it does fall into those same segments. Do you see what I mean? Regardless of where we're considering main is to be.
yeah,
And then
essentially.
obviously we have here, blah 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 blah. And that is why like outside laning, outside pathing on those side lanes is really important. One, you're taking less damage. Two, you're safer. Three, you're going health pack to health pack, which means that you can live without taking away resources from your backline. Just trying to ping pong for extra stall there. That's fine. One thing I'm interested in is how you actually use your shield. It's around 1,700 damage. The important thing as well about being a one trick is you understand that your stat line looks completely different every single game, right? I think a lot of people get caught up on the numbers, but you could genuinely finish a game on like 8,000 damage and it be an incredible game. You know what I mean? So it's important to clarify that for not casual players, but like players that don't really understand, it's a really good kidnap because it's gonna force resources or attention early. Now, okay, this is where there's a slight difference. Okay,
Mhm.
in terms of successfully stripping someone away and forcing them to turn, it's a good kidnap. However, the timing, it's way too early. Because what are we essentially looking for by forcing the enemy team into this sort of structure? What are we looking for?
To cut them off of LOS with their team, right?
Yeah. But the implication is, by you doing this, these things should die in like 3 seconds, you know?
Yeah,
By you
but
doing
they
that.
they choose to either stay there and commit or they back up.
Absolutely, yeah. So you're successfully doing it. You're making people turn, but it's before we have any sort of pressure on the front, which means that they're successfully able to sustain. Are you familiar with the concept of a bunker? Do you know what a bunker is?
I've heard about it, so I like to scrim almost daily, like during the week with some people, and I hear the terms, but like I'm not complete with like all the lingo and everything.
Yeah.
For
Um,
idea, this is like my first hero shooter, and like I'm
mm,
still like very brand new to like all the high level stuff.
yeah. It's kind of rough for new people for hero shooters, right?
Yeah,
Because hmm, you need to filter. It's hard to figure out what information is good and bad, let alone correct and incorrect. Because some people are just big rage baiters on the internet. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah. And then on top of that, you have the people that are really good at Overwatch that kind of just use Overwatch terms, but it doesn't really relate to this game because it's a different game, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I will bring up Overwatch, but I'll bring it up correctly. Like no ego, you know what I mean? Like I won't bring up Overwatch if it's not transferable. But bunkering is an Overwatch term. Um Are you familiar with the term or the concept of rock, paper, scissors?
No, I have not been taught
Cool.
that.
This is this is
Unless you're
this is
talking about the comps, like the. Okay, yeah, I've heard
yeah,
of that.
yeah. So it is the comps, but actually it is it was known as rock, paper, scissors because brawl beats dive. Dive beats poke. Poke beats brawl. Because in Overwatch, right? Poke was long distance, right? Brawl was immobile. And this is why I say in Rivals, it's really blurred times. Because Brawl in Overwatch was like everyone was like Bucky in the sense that they lacked mobility, but they were quite close range. Right?
Yeah,
In Marvel Rivals, it's kind of scuffed because Brawl is magic and magic has mobility, which means that she's kind of a pseudo dive character as it is, and this is why it's kind of wishy-washy. But yeah, dive is mobile. So the concept of rock, paper, scissors was you were able to beat poke. Why? Because you can close the gap, right? Poke stands super far away, but you can just go on top of them. Now, poke beat brawl because brawl was incapable of closing that gap. So they would just die at range trying to close the gap. But then brawl actually beat dive. Why do you think that is? Why do you think brawl beat
because
dive?
um, typically brawls are like high damage with some sort of like sustain, no?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
they have the ability to survive an engagement
So
scenario.
how I would describe it is in Overwatch, dive characters sacrificed damage output for mobility. So dive characters tended to be super fast but super low damage, which meant that dive characters would go onto these brawl characters and then the brawl characters would just blow them up. So it was almost as if um you were playing into the brawl's cards by closing the gap for them, but they were just simply stronger in the effective range. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Yep.
Um and you can see why that's kind of problematic in Rivals because, like I said, characters like Magic are also capable of closing the gap, but are still kind of broke characters, blah, 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 blah. But this is where
Yeah.
bunkers come into play. Bro, there are two types of bro, rush and bunker. What do you think the difference between these two types of bro are?
Um, I think bunker is more of like a defensive,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then
So
rush is like an offensive one.
So just like how poke is used as a comp title, but poke is also used as a playstyle describer, rush would be storm comp, right? Rush is
Mm-hmm.
storm comp, has a speed boost. They actively look to walk in a straight line. Whereas bunker is more like penny, you know? They
Mm-hmm.
are happy to sit back and invite pressure, kill the clock, and if you walk on them, they will kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and those were the two distinctions. And the reason why I bring it up here is if you look at this setup, the way to sustain a dive, and this is transferable in Marvel Rivals, is to use a bunker setup. It's the concept of inviting pressure, staying in a very enclosed space, and just having everyone look at the dive angle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. And this is why when I'm coaching dive teams, I actually mark off every single doorway, anything with a roof, anything with a ceiling, and say, don't go in here, you'll die. You know? Don't go in there, you will die. Now, I think you've overstepped this choke a bit because you've ended up in this situation. What's
Mm-hmm.
interesting, I think if you were able to strip away an element and drag them to the other side of the choke, I think that's fair game because on this other side, it's still open space, right?
Yeah.
But where the no-go zone is, in my opinion, is here. Because they will kill you and they can body block doorways and it's giga scuffed. Boom.
So, what do you think about not like so what if I start in those doorways and such like that? So what if I start my dive and pull them into the area? So like if you don't want me fighting in a certain area, wouldn't it
Mm.
be good to like start the fight and end that into the area that I want to fight in?
Yeah.
Because like I want to contest. That's when I think about like fighting people, especially like isolating them. I think about contesting them in the spot that I shouldn't be and then driving them out of it
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
don't
Cool.
want them falling back to that.
So it's just risky because if it's yes, so you need to use, remember the same isolation rule, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, you can start in an area you don't want to be, but they still have to be isolated or alone. Because the issue is if you start in an area where there's 4 enemies, they can just bunker up and kill you regardless, right?
Okay.
So you need to I think the general rule is good, but you still need to wait until most of the team oversteps the choke in order for you to make or take that engagement. But essentially open space is good to dive. Enclosed space like this is bad to dive in every single
Okay.
case. But yeah, I really, really like the concept of dragging people out of the area. You just need to be aware of the fact that you can't be punished for it. You can't be punished for it. And if people do bunker and turn, your team has to be ready to blow up the front. They like
Yeah.
that play that you just made is not objectively bad. The timing for it was wrong, and you could have or should have done something else given the context, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, it looks like we're just getting through this code, by the way. Like this is gonna be our only code.
Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. This is a really good code and it's long, so that'll
Yeah,
work.
for sure. Nothing really you can do in this fight. This is the awkward
Yeah.
thing about Angela, right? There's actually just gonna be times where you're just chilling and looking at all the support ults in the game. You could maybe try and drag people out of support ults, but it's kind of problematic if that support ult is the invis because you're just gonna be like stationary in the air. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that.
Even barely touching it, yeah, like
Yeah,
super
yeah.
close.
Nice. Do you think you can trap people outside of this cloak ult with your ult? For example, that they've walked into it. One
Yeah.
thing you'll notice is I am very disposable. I view ults as very disposable things. Like if I can secure a kill or save a life, I will pop my ult. I will pop my ult. Um, yeah. In a lot of cases, this is nice. You're displacing people out of the cloak ult, which is a lot easier to do in comparison to the Embers. Enemy team popping everything. This is very awkward now because you almost want to stall the cart. And by stalling the cart, you actually can't get a big ult. So just based on the people that have gone down in this fight, you can't pop your ult this fight, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, just die. I would just die on point, but take as long as possible to die, so your team gets another recontest, and then you can ult on the recontest. But it's like really unfortunate. But you get a pick, and now that is your trigger to maybe commit another ult, get a second pick.
Yeah, that was
You
bad.
missed. But nah, genuinely, just full send the ult. Full send the ult. You're one up still. Yeah. This is another thing is people make two not big mistakes. This is obviously a completely fine ult, other than the fact that there's no follow-up here. But so you've ulted them around the corner. In a weird way, it's actually best to drag this mag further in instead of attempting to kill these things around the corner. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
But going back to what I said, people will wait until support ults are outside of the cycle before they ult. But if everyone in the game does that, I'm telling you, they will build up more defensive ults than we have
What
offensive
I
ults.
think,
Yeah,
strictly my strict way of ulting is based on the momentum of the fight. I don't care how many ults you use. If
yeah,
we can change the momentum by like winning this fight, if I just ult, even if I don't kill anything, if I
mhm,
draw every single resources and I turn that team around, I'm
yeah.
ulting that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, yeah, that's what I mean. That's kind of what I was getting at when I said, ult should be
Yeah.
disposable, genuinely. Even to stop momentum, to gain momentum, to gain more momentum. I will happily prop my amplifier if I'm 2 kills up in a fight. You know what I mean? If we've only used one, especially, like, just win. You know? Because how I described it is like, people really underestimate what playing for good map space is. People would rather overcommit ults here, right? Just to stop people from capping. But I would rather overcommit ults here. Why? Because it's the most broken setup in the game. You really don't need to play the point well to hold this choke for a long period of time. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Um, and like, bro, this has the biggest example of it, right? Here. You do not need any ults to win a fight on this staircase. Genuinely. Like, defensively, you do not need any ults. It's so easy to hold certain parts of maps. And I think that people underappreciate that. You're now solo tanking, which is a pretty interesting concept as well.
And even like I said earlier, like this first part, this first round
Hmm.
is where like I felt like I played bad. And then
Hmm.
after this, like my playstyle completely changed.
Cool. Um, was it this entire defense?
This entire round, yeah, like
Cool,
it
cool,
was
cool.
just I just felt like I was lackluster. I could have provided more value, but I really
Yeah,
found my spot in a second
for
in the
sure. Uh,
overtime.
so after this fight, um, after one explanation, I'll skip forward to the part where your playstyle changed, so we get a decent amount of time looking at two different phases of the game. Um, further benefit you. But view this as your main tank. Why do I say that? Why do I say that Iron Fist is your main tank in this situation?
He's literally specializes in like, how do I say it? Face tanking everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
the guy just he wants everybody to look at him with his block.
Yes, exactly. And this is what people are unable to do in ranked, right?
Mm.
Iron Fist is arguably better at taking damage than Captain America is. Arguably. Do you see how that works? Um, and so you having an Iron Fist instead of you having a Cap legit doesn't mean anything. You know, don't get mind controlled by the fact that its roles. The comp actually functions in the exact same way.
Mm.
Okay, your Psylocke has decided to make first contact, which is extremely interesting take on the video game from that player. Oh, C9.
Yeah.
And yeah, usually how we judge the person on cart is it's actually a survivability thing. Again, at least in Overwatch, the most survivable member of the team escorts and contests cart. Now, this could be many people, right? This could be a tank. Why? Because of HP. This could be a support. Why? Because of healing output. But one thing that I find very, very interesting is in Overwatch, a lot of the time, I would argue 80% upwards, it was a character called Tracer. And if we're talking about straight playstyles, it would actually be the Psylocke equivalent of this game. I find it really, really interesting that nobody does that in this game. But the logic is, if someone forces cards, if your Psylocke is on point, they will essentially win every single matchup, regardless of the role. Does that make sense? Regardless of who it is contesting. Even if it's like a Venom or a Cap, like Psylocke can take that one. If they're good enough, if that makes sense. But yeah, there is a genuine order of who touches cart. A lot of the time, defensively, it is tank because the HP means biggest survivability, right? Next, a lot of the time, it is the support. Why? Because supports are very self-sufficient. They can heal themselves on cart, blah, 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 blah. But in that situation, when it was you and the Psylocke alive to touch, you have more survivability than the Psylocke, which means that you should be first touch. Psylocke should be second touch. And then probably our support should be third touch, based on the order they were walking out of spawn. So just be aware of that.
Okay.
Cool. So would you like to comment on the playstyle changes that you actually made in this situation?
I completely abandoned the staying with my team and playing for as a team player here and just went full dive.
Mm-hmm.
And I played with my my Spider-Man more.
Cool. It's more proactive. Getting a health pack,
And
being
I think I
self-sufficient.
was less main, like you mentioned earlier. I think a big thing is probably here. Now after you said it, like I noticed it's probably that I wasn't in main a lot as well.
Okay. Nice. I mean, this is not really something you can deal with. You're waiting for a health pack. Not bad. Your team's still dying. Okay, can my team set up, please? Nice. So now we're just third person peeking because we're looking for information on our next engage. Loki no TP. Does Loki still have greens? It's a good question. We don't know yet. Nice bit of information grabbing. You can hear Namor's footsteps to the left. He's not under, so he's probably top left. Nice, 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 nice. That's a really good engage. That is a really, really good engage. You're still up one. Nice. These greedy plays being taken very late into the fight when resources are already out and being used on the team. Here you could be holding tab, but they TPing, you know what I mean? That's what you could be thinking about right now. Now, the more bubble is likely out. If you see his health bar like this, he has probably already used his bubble, which means that he is a straight death, and you can just commit on that hard. That's a really nice fight. Stop the resets. Nice. Nice. Think about how they're going to jump through this TP. A lot of the... Oh. But yeah, as you can see, a lot of them are going to go here, which means actually playing behind the LOS of the TP, where they actually probably don't even know their Phoenix is going to be the engagement trigger. And she won't get cared for unless she walks forward. Yeah, I mean, fair. Oh my god, team. Naturally, I would put my shield up in front of the people on my team that just got whaled, right? But you are going for the displacement. Really small micro. Really small micro. But I would see my Emma half HP. See that, and I would just shield her off. Do you see what I'm saying? Nice. Now, this is the concept of stuffing. Nice. It's crazy how much you're doing, and your team are just still getting traded off. Yeah, and once again, you're stuffing this choke. Let's get her. Let's get her. Nice. Nice. Stopping the recontest. Nice old combo. Really, 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 really good. I can't complain about any of that. I will say, there's a lot of urgency to set up and go forward, go forward, go forward, go forward. You know, the further you hold, the better, because your team is fast paced, right? We can push up, so the further the space you hold, the better. Especially because your character can actively stop the enemy team from taking space as well in a disruption dive. But yeah, no, this is way too passive. Way too passive. What could you have done here? You can't do anything to stop this Punisher death. I think you can be set up next to the Punisher, but that's not going to stop him from overpeaking and dying. That guy's just being an idiot. Once again, do you see how mobile your comp is, but how stacked you guys are? Shouldn't be the case. Like, you guys can be controlling pretty much all three of these lanes at this point. You know what I mean? And then look at how stacked they are. Imagine if you can even take an angle like this. Already we're playing for like 85% of the map. You know what I mean? And that's really important. I almost swapped to the Cloak and Dagger because I saw her name was Angela. That's so funny. Now this is awkward because you keep getting scouted out by the more. Or at least in a more turret. Yeah, I mean, you can't hard engage this. It feels horrible, but you just need to, like, be passive here. As awful as it sounds, it's like I'd be screaming at my putty to just ult, bro. Like do something, otherwise, because I can't move. Like,
I think I'm too impatient, and I've been working on that a lot. Like, I try to make something happen way too often.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I understand that, to be fair. Nice kill. That's actually not a bad trade. You're probably back faster. My punny. Wait, my punny. Ah, hell no. Can we... What? My Loki had ult for so long. I was thinking, can we copy? Can we... I mean, this is like borderline lost. Ah, I mean, your backline just trolled that. Yeah, let's get out. Now we go again. Nice. So you won.
Yeah. My bad for pushing the server admin.
Yeah. I mean, that's not even a bad engage. Wow. At this point, you can just like... Should just cancel back out, but like that's a crazy amount of 250 HP gone like that. That's crazy.
Shield. I should have shielded or something, but like I don't know. I have to use my shield for like the combos.
Yeah. You just gotta wait until your team has an opening, or technically you can open with your Angela ult, but like it's just not as good as an Emma opener, to be honest. Spider-Man is good. Nice, don't use anymore. We should win this for free. Nice. It's not bad.
It's very tricky. I was trying to find a way to close the gap there, but it's just they held everything, every angle.
Nice. So, no, it's really good. This is really good. You made the correct adaptations, genuinely.
Yeah, I just need to like keep this flow in most of my games.
But it's not even okay, cool. But the adaptation is gonna be different in every game, right? You just correctly identified it. Now, what's good about this is you're forcing the enemy team to adapt to you. Otherwise, like if they don't adapt to you, you just hard win.
I mean, this is self-taught, like
yeah.
Connections to like learn this character or how she works or anything. This is just me. 400 hours on her.
Makes sense. I think self-taught players often tend to be the best. Like that was like I've been playing Rocket since the alpha, like genuinely. Yeah, you're just able to hard dictate momentum. This guy is so cringe for that. Wow. This is kind of problematic now because they got a pick. They have spawn right here. That was our closest ult. In a weird way, I think you asked, like, how do we lose this game? I think the defense might be the reason. They have 16 extra seconds. If we don't cap till overtime, they're going to have more than that. Yeah. Sounds bad, but like sometimes the game is already lost from here. But we can see.
In overtime, like we did really well, but I also did feed in one of them.
Yeah.
That's why we lost, but like I could have played better from the start and then at the end a little bit.
This is good. Nice combo. Nice.
I had to get him back with the solo ult.
He got executed.
Yeah.
Look at this. But nah, no, for sure, that attack was pretty good. Like, your engagement timings are really successful, really strong. I actually don't have too much to say about that. That was like, everything clicked and fell into place. This is the thing about high-level gameplay a lot of the time. Like, even when I'm coaching my pros, for example, the main takeaway could just be 15 minutes of the game. Do you see it? Do you see what I mean? Now here, the issue is the setup can take long, right? So we're banking on either a set play or a first ult or something like that with 1 minute. And I often say the team that ults first with a 1 minute time bank tends to win. So actually, this would be a situation where I'm playing more for my team, looking to take as much damage as possible. Because realistically, if we're playing for a pick, that pick has to be rocket. Unless we flank, we scout, we break res. But that's bubble out. Nice block. You need to wait until your shield HP comes back. This is a big issue that a lot of players make.
Yeah.
Because even it being as low as like... Okay, cool.
I try to time it properly. Like,
yeah.
Engagements with it. Like, I don't want to wait until I have it. Like, I want
yeah, no.
right through.
I agree. That's good. As long as you're actually aware of that. This is big. No. Oh my. Now, all of this to just feed your supports. But your Loki is taking forever. Your Loki is taking so long. Nice kill. Can my Loki please get ultimate? Can my Loki hit one shot? Nice.
So I butchered right here. I think I fed. Like, I tried to hold up. And it's just a mistake, I think.
Their own thing. How are you gonna change your playstyle based on the thing?
Wherever he's at, I'm not. So if he's in backline, I'm grabbing frontline. If he's in frontline, I'm grabbing backline.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Did I feed? I think I fed right here, actually. Yeah. Like that choke right there, like that doorway. I never want to go into there. Like once they walk, I try to do something.
Yeah.
My whole team is on cards.
But this is what I mean. They're in a bunkered position, right? They're in a bunkered position.
I thought to myself, I was like, I fucked up here.
Yeah.
My team could have been there, but like
I mean, we still have a cloak. Oh, my Loki's gonna die before my cloak presses Q. Yeah, I mean, you can just tell. You can actually just tell. Alright, man. Like,
I think we win that too if, like, you know, full cap. But...
nice recontested. Don't see nine. You wanna play as passive as possible. You should assume that a TP is coming, right? So right now, we're actually just trying to...
Oh! And then he blocks me off. Yeah, I was really confused. I thought I was saved.
Oh my.
Around, I saw that.
Oh wow. Wow, 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 wow.
What have you mortals gone and done this time?
Now we can play it slow. Second ult. 2 minutes. We can allow them to waste all their ult economy first. Right? And then we can play again. I think another thing that you could pick up on is just tying into the game mode. What is the actual win condition of the game mode? We're playing for card progression. And we pushed it a certain amount of distance. I would already be telling my Emma to swap strange. Oh, we just collapse. This is not your fault. This is just not your fault. You need to stall. You need to stall. This kill won't even do much for you. You need to be on point. Yeah, because like we have a TP coming. Okay, we make. The pick ended up not being too bad. We're playing for a retake. This is an issue, right? Here, the issue with this TP is we still need to play for angles. So having, let's say if we split in here, no, let's play it like this. We only have control of this segment of the map right now, but we also need point presence. And the easiest way to enable a side is to full control this side. If that makes sense. We want engagement and pressure from like the left side as well as the top side. So boom. There we took back left side pressure, but the issue is we pushed them into a part of the map where we already have control. So now you can actually back away and maintain pressure from that angle as opposed to playing for the same area of space as the rest of my team. Because what's happening is their cloak is walking back into the area that they were. Now this is fine. But the issue is we're going into contested space once again. And this becomes scrappy. Because again, we're gravitating all towards this same side of the map. Let's see. And again, it's very, very scuffed. People are edging towards the left. These guys need to clear this again because this is once again contested ground. Again, not much that you can necessarily do in this situation. But I also do think that your cycles between sustaining yourself and going in can be more consistent. And it should be tracked whether you want to get a health pack or whether you want to charge up your own supports. Because in situations like this, you simply don't have the time to get a health pack. Yeah, I'm very big on killing the time bank, and the real strength about playing a dive character on defense is the fact that you can contest, then get out, then contest, and get out. There's a pro team in EMEA called Navi that basically play a dive defense spawn hold setup, and it's really hard to clear every single element. So even a situation like this, you know that people on your team are spawning. Right now, this is auto progression. So I'd be setting up until auto progression stops, which means that you can recontest the cart again. Does that make sense? And you look to be setting up behind them, which is good because they have to be careful of this. They have to be careful of you here. This is the issue with the character Angela, right? She doesn't really gain ult charge in these overtime fights if you don't really play for it, which means that you have to be playing for card stall. You need to be prolonging the fight for long enough for your other elements of your team to build their own ults. That is your duty, to just prolong, get out, occasional displays, potentially kill someone, you know? And right now, it doesn't seem lost. I think it seems so passive. It's very, very passive for a game mode where we actively need to get them off cart. So right now, thing goes in, we drag people in. You can disengage after that displacement. We don't need to stay in, you know? I would just hard focus on being annoying, getting out, sustaining myself, pathing, doing the exact same thing over and over and over and over. Because we call it disruption dive, actually. So this will be our last takeaway before I have my next client. But disruption dive is what Captain America is really good at. There's soft dive, there's hard dive. Soft dive gets out cooldowns. Hard dive looks for kills. Very, very rare that we can hard dive all the time, which means that the majority of dives are soft dives. Then we disengage.
Okay.
Now, a disruption dive is to slow people down, right? And it is not even about getting cooldowns. It's not even about potentially getting a kill. It is literally to stop cart. If you're stopping cart every 6 seconds for 3 seconds, do you see how over the course of 1 minute, you are actually doing a lot of stalling? You're stopping a lot of cart progression. And it's just the concept of you getting in, getting out, and potentially if you can bait cooldowns, that's even better. The same way that soft dives are fine, but it's like the prep to a hard dive. A disruption dive is like prep for a soft dive. The more you soft dive, the more you disrupt, the more you go for disruption dives, the more likely they are to use cooldowns on you just to stop you from disrupting, you know? And that is the a very good concept of just stalling people out. So, to summarize everything that we learned today, number 1, pathing, side lanes.
Yeah, I'll work heavily on that.
Yeah. Bunkers and enclosed space. There was I mean, your ults were fine, your ults are very disposable. Completely fine. Battery versus health packs. So attention trading. So that's the concept of going in and forcing the backline to look at you. And timing of attention trading, because you need that to happen at the same time as the rest of your team are making contact with their front line, right? That makes sense. Now what would you say the final takeaway was? I guess the disruption dive, right?
Yeah, I did not have that idea of the dive. I knew about the soft dives and then like baiting out cooldowns and then like a hard dive, like I just fully commit for a kill.
Mhm.
But I never thought of like disruption. I think that I'll work on that heavily on defensive
Yes,
games where we have to play for the cart. I'll work heavily on that.
because that's game theory. It really is game theory. Every single inch, every single bit of percentage is like, that is the goal. That's what we're looking for. Even if it's the stall for us to get a TP, even if it's the stall for us to get an extra 8%, or on a support.
Yeah, I think that and the silanes are two of the biggest things that I need to apply for myself.
Mhm.
Disruption is something that I was missing. Like it was like a key to like a puzzle that I was missing.
Yes.
I died a lot on defense, and I always try to stall cart, but like I never had the actual theory of what I was doing.
Yeah.
So now I have like the proper term and terminology and theory to deep dive into, and then the side lanes is just I think a basic part of my gameplay that I need to apply better.
Mhm. But yeah, nah, your adaptations were really, really good. I need to wrap this up quickly just simply because I'm 5 minutes late to my next session. But nah, let me know how the grind goes, because I think it's really, really good. Like the fact that you got 5 takeaways from one map is good. And like, even if you contribute 2 weeks to learning every single one of these things. As in, like, you know, you spend 2 weeks on pathing side lanes. Like, it seems a long way away, but like, think about how good your gameplay is gonna be this time in like March. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's
Alright,
it's yeah.
whenever you post this, you can send it to me, and I'll update you on my progress.
No worries. Yeah, sounds good.
All right.